Welcome to the Carolina Girls Podcast with Heather and Cher.
Carolina Girl.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Cher.
And we're the Carolina Girls Podcast. So, did we miss something last week?
We missed recording last week.
We did.
We did. We were crazy busy.
It was too crazy for us to get things going.
But
on the
you
podcast.
know what, though, Heather? Last week is a perfect example of, when life is busy, whether it's work or home, that sometimes you have to make adjustments, right? So,
Absolutely.
there's no such thing as that 50-50, I'm going to do 50% at work and 50% at home, because that's just BS. Sometimes work requires 75 and sometimes home requires 25. And our podcast, we do this because we
like it.
We love it.
We like making fun of each other. She likes making fun of me mostly. And it's fun. It's something that we can do.
Right. So we had to miss last week because we had a lot going on at work. We had a really great week last week.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, we had a fantastic event. We had a great time together.
We did.
When we had a buddy of ours, he's also in the business. He was there, and we had a great time.
We did. We celebrated some local agents and had a great time.
It was great.
It was great. It was an amazing event. I thought it went great.
But having last week let us know that we might, moving forward, not be able to record every week,
right.
And release recordings every other week. Now, if we could do it every week, great, and it's okay.
Yeah. The suspense of, is a podcast coming out this Tuesday?
I know. It's so exciting.
It's things to think about. But, so, what are we talking about today?
Today is something I think that you and I have dealt with our entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that is competition with women, whether they're your friends or not.
Yep.
And that competition doesn't turn into lifting each other up, but putting other women down.
Right.
And women do this all the time.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I know that from experience that, I try to be happy, encourage, I try to give out more information if somebody's asking.
Right.
And flood them with as much information as possible. But I have had on the flip side, people maybe hold back or withhold information or, see me as a threat or a competition, but that's not the way that it is.
Or put you down.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing that bothers me the most in it's not even just in our industry, although it happens in our industry
so much in
all
our
the
industry.
time, so cutthroat, is when you put down someone that you perceive as your competition. And the reality is the only person that you should be competing with is yourself, and that's to be better the very next day, right?
Exactly.
You wake up, what can I do today that makes me better than what I was yesterday?
Absolutely.
Whether that's brushing your hair today because you didn't do it yesterday, or making those sales calls you're supposed to make, or, fill in the blank, what, and I think women in general, and I'm sure it's like this for men. I mean, I'm positive it's like this for men. I have boys. I know what they go through too. But we look at another person and we make assumptions about their lives, right?
Yeah.
If only I was skinny as she is, I would get more business, right?
Right.
Whereas the skinny girl might be looking at someone else and be like, if only I had her confidence.
Yep,
I could get more business,
Absolutely. Everybody does that self-talk and thinking, Cher thinks this about me, or Heather thinks this about me. And it's a preconceived notion. Sometimes my facial expressions may not be the best, but I'm not thinking the worst.
Right.
Well,
I have RBF. I have RBF.
I was going to say the same thing. Anybody know what RBF?
Resting bitch face. And I've got it. Like, I have it all the time. And
I know.
It's
I'm
never...
like, why are you mad? And she's like, I'm not.
I'm just like off in La La Land in my head, or I'm thinking about the next thing I wanted to do or whatnot. But, we're always in competition. Now, I am like one of the fiercest competitors in the world, and so are you.
Yeah.
We compete with each other all the time.
We do.
However, I've never had a moment where we're competing with each other
Mm-hmm.
and you've put me down.
No, absolutely not.
Like when
I want you to succeed. I want you to beat me. Because you know what? I'm going to come back and beat you the next
exactly.
time. That's what it's all about.
It's like
it's not like a beat you thing. It's like we're going to keep going, making each other better.
It's when we were doing the basketball tournament, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you like came out of nowhere and smacked my shot into the stands, right? Into the bleachers. And I'm pretty sure no one there was as excited for that blocked shot as I was.
Right. And you even said that because there was a video about it, that you like went back and looked and you had tears in your eyes, like because we had so much fun.
Right.
But we were competitors.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
And I think listen, everybody's definition of winning is different.
Yep.
Okay? So when we're competing for loans, right? Sometimes I don't have the best rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But whatever it is that I did provide the client gave them the best confidence, if you will, and I might win that loan today.
Right.
Tomorrow I may not.
Right.
But if I lose a loan to a competitor, it doesn't mean the competitor's better than me.
Right.
It means that what they have to offer was better for that person on that day and that time and that moment.
Exactly.
And too often we look at that and go, man, I'm not good enough.
Exactly. You get that pit in your stomach, like, oh, what could I have done? What it's a repetitive thing that you think about, like how could I have done better? What could I have done? And you don't know how that loan's going to turn out at the end.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't know what kind of service they're going to provide.
And it could be a loan officer in California, or it could be somebody here local in North Carolina.
Exactly.
The reality is, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
What does matter though is how you respond.
That's exactly what I tell my kids all the time. Think about the way that you respond, because that's what people are going to remember.
So what I tell the boys is you have zero control over
Everybody
anything that anyone else does, but you have 100% control over yourself and how you respond.
Exactly.
So how you carry yourself day to day, that's your character.
Right.
And so for women who put down other women,
Yep.
girls who put down other girls, it speaks more to their character than it does to yours. But getting that mindset changed, like, listen, I'm a big girl, I'm overweight. I am. I mean, I can't hide it. I look in the mirror and I see what I am. I do, right? And then you and me at the beach, for example. I'm just going to use us as an example at the beach.
Okay.
You can rock out a two-piece, although you normally don't.
I do not.
But you can.
Right.
And I mean, the only two-piece I'm rocking out would be flip-flops, and everything else needs to be covered, right? Like, that's just the reality. And so at the beach, the very first thing, my insecurities come into play when I'm out there with you. You have never, ever made me feel insecure. I made me feel insecure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the thing is, I don't understand the women who ugly talk other women. And that's what really bothers me. Or the girls that ugly talk other girls. So I could very much look at you and point out all your flaws to try to make me feel better, because you do have them.
We do have them. Everybody has them.
But the reality is, if I did that, that would speak to who I am as a person.
Right.
And
That's not your character.
and I'm ugly on the inside, right? And that's not, and it just drives me crazy, because I will talk to people in the industry, and I know you talk to people in the industry, and we hear other realtors bashing realtors, or other parents bashing parents, or
we get recruiting calls and they're like, why are you there? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like, that's the worst. Like,
it drives me
I'm here
insane.
for a reason.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And there's a reason why I'm here. So don't recruit me and downgrade something that I'm currently doing, just to try to benefit and show your value at where you are.
I got a funny beach story though.
Oh, good.
I didn't tell you this one beforehand, so we're going to talk about it.
This is off the cuff, y'all.
It's totally
this
off
is
the
raw
cuff.
material.
There's
here.
no telling what's going out of my mouth right now, and she's afraid. So, do you remember that we were at the beach, and we were... it was just me and you and our other bestie, Suzanne. And we were at the condo, your condo, and we went out for we got one really good day on the beach.
Yeah. We were also working.
We were
working
from the beach. So I went into the ocean to pee. And, and I decided I was going to dive into a wave.
She used the public restroom.
In the ocean. Anyway, and so I dove into a wave, and I was actually wearing a two-piece, but it was like the two-piece that looks like a one-piece.
Like a Squirtle.
My biggest fear at the beach happened.
You lost
I lost my pants.
She obviously didn't get up because I didn't see it.
No, it took me a moment. They were still around my ankles, but I was like underneath, trying to stay under the waves.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious. When I was a kid, I had a buddy, and I'm not gonna say his name on here, Stevie Lee. And when we were kids, our families would go to the beach together. Yeah. And he and my brother used to go out there.
I bet you stayed at Ocean Lakes too, right?
So we stayed everywhere. Okay. So just so you know, but
everybody stayed at Ocean Lakes. But me, I've never been there.
Anyway, so the boys we'd be out in the ocean, and the boys used to jump up above the waves and pull down their swim trunks and moon the waves, but they were mooning the entire beach too. So, ever since I was little, I was always afraid I'd lose my bathing suit. I lost my bathing suit last time we were in the ocean.
I remember one time when I was at the beach, if we're going to talk about the beach, that, I have another funny story we have to tell at some point in time, but not today.
Squirrel.
Squirrel. Sorry, that's me. So I had on a one-piece bathing suit at the time. I was a kid. I was probably 10 or so. And I was there jumping waves. You won't find me in the ocean right now.
Unless you gotta pee.
Unless I gotta pee. And it is probably like to my waist, and that's it.
Are you afraid of what's in the water?
Yeah. I remember... No, I don't like the stuff wrapping around your legs, the seaweed and yuck. No.
When you were a kid, you didn't care about it. Like, it was like, oh, seaweed, let me dive under and play with it. Now it's just like, oh, what's coming?
Exactly. But this one time, I was out with my family because we would all go in July, go to the beach or whatever, and this wave just hits me, right? All of a sudden, I get up. And in my bathing suit, there was this thing that was flopping around. I had caught a fish in my bathing suit. It was I was like, oh my God! Of course, it happens to me. Yeah.
You remember those bathing suits? It was a one piece, but it had the big old cutout for your belly.
And you had terrible tan lines.
Dude, I rocked that bathing suit every summer, man.
I did too.
That was it. It had little attachments on the side.
Little bows or whatever.
Oh, yeah. But I love that because I had big breasts when I was a kid. Or when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean...
She grew into them.
No, I have not. They're still too big.
Right, that's right. Too funny.
Way too big, unless you ask my husband. He'll say they're fine. But, that bathing suit was my jam because it would hold my boobs.
Yeah.
And whereas a bikini, anybody could walk in and pull the straps, and I would be so in trouble.
It was kind of like a sports bra, kind of.
Yeah, because it was tight, and it went over the shoulders too. Yeah. It was great. That was my jam.
Yeah,
I wore that bathing suit,
and they were all fluorescent colors. And we were dark back then.
And
my belly would be dark.
Back in the day of Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach. I won't ever forget. I got in trouble because
we're gonna have to tell my story.
We
totally went off.
We so did. We'll circle back around on that in a minute. But I got in trouble 2 times at the beach that I can remember very vividly.
Okay.
The first time, my friend Sean, she and I are at the beach together.
Sean's a girl.
Okay. Yeah, she is, and she came down with us, and I was 14. Dun, 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 dun. And I met the cutest guy. Oh my goodness, he was so cute. And he was 17. And I told him I was 16. And so we're walking along the beach together, and Sean, totally. And Sean, like, she hung back, and it was just me and him walking on the beach, and it was about dusk-ish. Okay. And we had missed our curfew to be back at the hotel room for dinner.
Okay.
By about 45 minutes.
Yeah. Were you with her mom or your mom?
Oh, we were with Steve and Denise Story at that time.
Oh.
So
they came out.
We're with my parents. Oh no, it was just Daddy. So I'm walking down the beach, and Sean's like 20 feet behind me, and I look up over to my right. And no, when I was 13, I was not 14.
Dang.
That makes it even worse. And I look up over to my right, and I see Steve Story walking with a purpose. I was like, oh gosh, Sean, get up here,
so
get up here.
Did you drop the hand holding by that point?
Oh,
and was like,
yes, I dropped the hand holding, like, and we were holding hands walking down the beach. Yeah, dropped the hand holding. I turned around and looked at Sean, and I'm like, you see that? And she's like, girl. And I look over, so my dad comes storming up, and he was like, you guys are 45 minutes late. And then he looks at this kid, and he's head to toe looking at him, and he's like, son, how old are you?
Oh, no.
And he's like, the guy reaches out and shakes dad's hand, and he was like, I'm 17, sir. And my daddy looked at me.
Did he write you out?
My daddy said, you got 2 seconds to move it. And I looked at him, and he's like, and I'm not playing.
Or your butt is
And
gross.
so I was like, I looked at the dude, and I was like, sorry. And I started walking, and I hear my dad go, dude, she's 13. And the guy went, oh my gosh. My dad was like, don't worry, I'm going to make her life live in hell. Like, I heard Daddy say that. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, that was
Steve
awful.
Story.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
And then there was another time I went to the beach with Church Youth Group, and I came home. You remember when this fringe shirts, like the cutoff shirt with the fringe, and you had the fringe on the sleeves, and I had a purple one, and it said "Swim Naked."
Oh no! At a church function, you wore that?
No, I bought it at a church function. I did not wear it while I was down with the Church Youth Group. But when I got home, I thought I was going to wear it.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
And Denise Story said,
burn barrel.
Denise Story said, oh, hail to the no.
Right.
And I'm like, why? What? She's like, swim naked? But, that was back in the 80s, 90s, 90s, 80s. Yeah, that was back in the 80s when, everything naked was, what was in, right? And my mind didn't really understand it until she explained it. And then I still wanted to wear a shirt. I didn't care.
Yeah, that didn't go over so well.
Yeah, that one, it didn't make it. It didn't make it in my drawer.
Nope. It probably didn't even make it to Goodwill.
No, and it was my $16, like my own personal $16.
Right, I hear you.
I was not happy.
Well, let me tell you about my Myrtle Beach experience.
Myrtle Beach!
Okay. So me and one of my best friends, Amy, and my
Oh.
mom and her mom went down to Myrtle Beach for a weekend. And, we're just bebopping around, having a good old time. And they said that there is a bikini contest. Now, we're at the Hilton right on the Strip.
And you're not at North Myrtle. You're at Myrtle Beach.
No, we're at Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
And we had never stayed there before. And don't know how this happened. But they signed me up for a Hawaiian Tropic bikini contest. Now, I'm 15 years
Who
old.
signed you up?
One of them. My mom, Miss Debbie, or Amy. I don't know, but they were like, oh, we just signed you up for this bikini contest. I didn't know that these were experienced ladies that I was going to be competing against. Experienced.
I can just see Twigs walking out.
Yeah, I came off of the beach. I had my hat on, and I had a cute bathing suit on and everything. And I'm standing with these chicks that had on...
Very voluptuous.
Oh, my God. That probably came off the club the night before. They had...
Are you meaning the pole or the club?
Both.
Okay.
So, They had on thong bathing suits. I'm not competing with that.
Thong.
Exactly. Thong. They had on high heels,
And I bet they look good too.
you know they did.
Yeah, I bet
But
they did.
me coming in off the beach, you know, I have my
No
salty
makeup
hair.
on. No makeup on.
No makeup on.
Beach hair. She didn't care.
Baseball hat, and you have to dance on a table. Oh my gosh!
What in the world
How the heck
is your
do
mom
I get
thinking?
myself
Putting
into this?
you on a table to dance at the Hilton, which, by the way, I love the Hilton down in Myrtle Beach.
It is outside next to the pool. Now, did I say that there's all these military men out in the pool? Like, oh my gosh.
Please tell me they cheered for you.
They did. They rooted me on when I went out there. I thought I was the stuff.
What were you doing?
I danced on a table.
But what kind of dancing did you do?
I don't
I mean,
know.
you know, were you like doing a
But-
snake
No.
back in the day?
I don't know. I don't know what I did.
Breakdancing,
But
hopping down.
they
doing a
cheered me
whirl?
on, and needless to say, I did not win. But that night is where it all went wrong.
Oh.
Okay, so
Oh.
yeah,
Oh.
it wasn't good. So, my friend Amy was turning 16 9 days before me. So I was like, all right, well, we can do that. So my mom's car's in the parking lot, and I said, hey, Amy, why don't we go ride the strip one time in Mom's car?
And exactly what kind of car did your mom have?
My mom had a Mercedes. And I was like, Amy, she won't be mad at you. She won't be mad. She won't.
She won't
Let's
be
go.
mad at you if you
do
drive.
it. Exactly. So I said, all right, let's go. So we go, we drive the strip. And we're like,
I used
you
to
know,
love riding
oh
the
my
strip.
God, it
Oh
was
my
so
gosh,
much
it was
fun.
so much fun.
like I think we rode down and back.
Well, say, you know, I have a bunch of redneck friends, so we rode the strip in the back of the pickup truck.
Right.
So much fun.
Oh my gosh. So what happened was we rode the strip. You know, we hollered, looking good, you know, rolled down the windows and everything.
Rolling with the homie.
Booming our music and everything. And we pull back in the parking lot.
Was that Fresh Prince summertime? Summertime.
Yeah.
It would be about that time, yeah.
Yeah. So we pull back in the parking lot.
And
Oh, heck. This parking spot's gone. We're like, uh-oh, that's not good. And all of a sudden we turn the corner. And there's my mom and Miss Debbie standing there. And I'm like, oh, no.
did they know y'all had went out?
No. I
So-
mean, they thought that we had just went out. They didn't know that we grabbed the keys and...
So
like,
they
went
very
out.
well could have been wanting to go out. And
Oh, yeah. And
their
ride
car
the
is
strip too. Yeah, and so we couldn't find a parking spot. So, you know, we're going around. We see them again, going around.
And they see you.
And and they're like, okay. So we park. And Mom goes, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope your 16th birthday, that's what you did. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm not getting a car. All because I wanted to go ride the strip.
Oh my gosh, you wanted to
well.
go ride the strip.
But yeah, so that was my rebel with the cause there.
I'm pretty sure that you have a lot of Rebel
I
with the
do.
Cause stories.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. But that's all we're sharing today.
When we were when I was little, my
Right.
parents didn't have a lot of money.
Right.
And so whenever we did beach trips, we would camp in a tent.
Really?
Yeah, really. So we were in the campground. You know, we would be in the tent, and that's where we stayed. So we were like going camping, but instead of in the mountains, we're at the beach,
Yeah.
and that's what we did. And the Hilton was not too far away, and so I mean, my dad. Listen, the man has never met a stranger.
Right. You
Ever.
haven't either.
Ever.
Takes after her daddy.
Absolutely. And so he and Mom always befriended somebody that was staying at the Hilton. So we were always at the Hilton,
Right.
at the pool at the Hilton, and they had the pool bar and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Always up there. And my dad was always taking pictures of me and my mom, but always taking pictures of us. So I won't ever forget, in this cute little red bikini, I'm 5 years old, 6 years old, maybe. You know, I don't have any teeth. You know, all that good stuff. Long, stringy hair, typical. I mean, and as brown as you can get, because my Indian blood in me out in the summer, I'm brown, super brown.
Right.
I wish I was that way all year long. I really do.
Me too.
So, and I'm always, you know, hands on the hips, doing a little, you know, whatever for my
Posing.
dad all the time.
Striking a pose.
All the time. This
You?
my
Or
dad,
your dad?
my bikini needs to be retied.
Uh-oh.
Well, my dad was a smoker.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. And so I'll go over to him and get him to tie my bikini, and he's got a cigarette in his hand. Burns my back. Like, I cannot even begin to tell you. Of course, I'm screaming and crying, and the Hilton staff felt so sorry for me. I got free ice cream all day long. It was great.
Oh, my gosh.
The crazy things that pop in your mind.
Oh, Lord.
But, you know, all the way back to, now we're going to circle this around, all the way back to even when I was younger, I always, even though I was always made to feel confident and, you know, be confident in who I am, even though I was taught that way, even though it was, you know, basically ingrained in me from birth, I still have insecurities.
I think we all do. We all do. And we all, and I said this before in a previous podcast, that we all do negative self-talk. And the more you negative self-talk, the more you start thinking those negative things about you. And that's one of the things that I try to do every day is, you know, today's going to be a good day.
Positive talk.
Positive talk.
Well, and you know what? I find that the more that I am comfortable with me, the easier and it almost is more of a flow to encourage others to be comfortable in them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like whenever I see someone struggling or having a bad day, I want to encourage them about themselves, you know?
Yeah.
And it's
I mean, sometimes I call you and you're like, how you doing? And I'm
how you
like,
doing?
I'm like, I'm okay. You're like,
Nope.
no,
Nope.
you're lying. Tell me what's going on. You know.
I just wish that more women, and you know what, I think that the truth is more women do want to uplift other women. I really do. I think that, and I think it's the ones who don't, that just stand out.
Right.
And I think though, as a woman, as a little girl, as a teenager, you know, in your 20s, whatever, always remember that although you've got your negative thoughts about you, don't put somebody else down to make you feel better, because
Exactly.
it won't. It really will not. It will never make you feel better to put someone else down.
Right.
But it will make you feel better to lift them up.
Exactly. I love that. Good
You
job.
know, it's
Yeah.
definitely
Well said.
something to think about.
Well said.
Hey, what time is it?
What Southerners say.
Today's phrase is so appropriate with what we were talking about.
Exactly. So, what is it?
Well, I say this to my kids all the time.
I say it all the time.
And I say it in different ways too, right? But like I will say, don't be ugly, or you're acting ugly.
Yep.
You know, don't be ugly, and that doesn't mean like
Physically
ugly. It means the way you're acting, your attitude, your inside is ugly.
the way that it's coming out is ugly.
is ugly.
Delivery is ugly. You know?
And I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, why are you being so ugly? I say that all the time.
Yeah. No, I say that all the time too, and sometimes I think that my kids are like, "Did you just call me ugly?" I'm like, "No, I didn't call you ugly. I called the way
Your
you're acting
attitude
is ugly.
Yes,
That
exactly.
is not nice. Let's rethink the way that you just came out and said." I always say, you know, you could say something, and the delivery in it is key. Because you could say the same exact thing, just two different ways, and the way that I interpret it, the way that I receive it, is totally different.
You know that Snickers commercial where you know they've got they're hangry, right? And
Yeah.
they're like, just have a Snickers. You know, that's a really good representation of don't be ugly. Like, you know, when you're
Yeah.
projecting that ugliness.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just have a Snickers and don't be ugly.
Have a Snickers. And it'll be ugly. I don't even like Snickers.
Really?
No.
I like Kit
What's your
Kats.
favorite, Karen?
Kit Kat.
Oh, I like Kit Kat. That's Derek. That's
break
Derek, my
me off a
brother's
piece of
favorite
some Kit Kat bar.
too. Yeah.
And I like Nestle Crunch, and I love Bunch of Crunch. And I love Bunch of Crunch and salty popcorn all at the same time.
Bunch of Crunch is like.
It's a Nestle Crunch bar, but it's little teeny tiny bite sizes. So it's Bunch of Crunch with, so you've got the sweet chocolate with the salty popcorn.
You know what I
It's the
like?
best way to eat at the movie theater.
If I go to the movie theater, I'm eating goobers.
You are a goober. But
I love it.
I got
But sometimes, wait. I gotta say this. Sometimes you get a goober and it's actually a raisinette, and that is not good. You know what that is? That is chocolate covered raisins, and I don't eat raisins.
I don't eat raisins either, or pickles. However, I do eat Bunch of Crunch and popcorn, and we wonder why I'm a big girl. Like, I just like, because I eat Bunch of
Stop
Crunch and
it.
popcorn at the movie theater. I haven't been to a movie theater in years.
Me neither.
Oh my goodness gracious.
All right, well,
Today
this has
was
been
fun.
fun. It has been absolutely a great time, and I hope y'all have a wonderful week. And I'm going to end it with be sweet, be kind.
And be you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.
California.